I haven't said much about the Labour leadership contest so far. The only thing I have said is that I believe the change we require as a country will not come from within an establishment party, no matter who gets elected leader. And I stick to that. But I have to admit, the thought of Jeremy Corbyn leading the Labour Party does make it intriguing to see how the establishment will react. Will he get a fast-acting cancer after he's elected? Will he have a heart attack like John Smith did that allowed Tony Blair to head the party? Will there be an instant challenge to his leadership? Will there be a challenge to this democratic process of picking the leader under the guise that this democratic process wasn't democratic? Who knows what's going to happen? But people are so dumb nowadays. The general public are just so stupid that they could put any kind of spin on it and get away with it. I have to be honest, it is a little strange what Corbyn's saying. It's so alien, so abnormal for an MP to say the things that Jeremy Corbyn is saying. I mean, an MP from an establishment party not wanting to hammer the poor with austerity, or being against the Iraq war, and in fact wanting to do something Tony Blair would never do as long as he's got a hole in his arse, and actually apologise for the deaths of over 1 million people that Tony Blair helped kill in Iraq. Killed so Blair could make oil deals as British soldiers he sent there were being killed. Deals that would benefit Blair personally to the tune of millions. Is there honestly anyone more disgusting on this planet than Tony Blair? Corbyn is also against the future bombing of Syria, which will cause untold murder and mayhem just like Cameron's bombing of Libya did, and could also lead to a far larger conflict. Oh, by the way, Tony Blair said that we should bomb Syria. Oh, and he also said that he wants to bomb Iraq again as well. Corbyn wants to scrap Trident and wants to use the money to benefit the country. Corbyn is against the benefits cap. He wants to provide free education, wants to nationalise the rail and energy companies so they can be better regulated and provide better value for money. He also wants to build 240,000 more houses each year. He wants to introduce the 50% tax on the highest earners. The media tell us to be scared of Corbyn. I would ask what's there to be afraid of. As I can see, the people aren't scared of Corbyn. It's the establishment that are shit scared of Corbyn. I wasn't interested in the Labour leadership for weeks. And as I said before, I don't think he will have a chance if elected leader because the whole establishment won't let him. But my interest certainly increased when murdering warmonger Tony Blair had a go at him. If Tony Blair doesn't like something and is against something, it's worth looking into that thing because Tony Blair is scum and working against humanity to line his and his friends' pockets.
And it's not about an individual. It's about a platform that, in the end, wouldn't work for the country. And I want to stress that it's not that it wouldn't win power. I personally think it's unlikely that you would win power. But even if you did, it wouldn't be right. Because it wouldn't take the country forward.
So just what is Blair's idea of taking the country forward? Bombing Syria like we did in Libya? Bombing Iraq again and killing another 1 million people? Allowing ISIS to run wild whilst funding, arming and training them? Handing over billions to private companies to run the NHS, to put big business and banks before people. Blair's idea of taking the country forward is whatever his paymasters say it is, and it certainly doesn't start with stopping austerity or helping anyone other than himself. Jeremy Corbyn, if elected leader, will put Tony Blair to shame and show Blair for the arrogant scumbag that he is, by apologising for the Iraq war, something Blair has never and will never do. No one wants to hear what Tony Blair has to say. I bet the support for Corbyn increased after Blair ranted about him.
Because, this is why when people say, well, my heart says I should really be without politics, well, get a transplant, because that's just done.
Isn't it ironic that Blair talked about a heart transplant when it came to supporting Corbyn? Haven't you got to have a heart, Tony, for it to be transplanted? Tony Blair made money through oil deals whilst the soldiers he sent to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan were being killed. Tony Blair is one, if not the, most despicable man on the planet. How bloody dare he? We should start a petition to call for him to be put down for the greater good of humanity. Now, our room on holiday was right by the pool, and one afternoon it was so hot that I decided I was going to watch Sky News for 20 minutes. 20 minutes of Sky News would, of course, allow me to see the news cycle about 4 times, so I would have made sure I'd caught up on everything. But instead of the news cycles, they were actually showing a Gordon Brown speech. You know the one. I'm not sure, but I think it was raising money at the same time by doing some bizarre corporate-sponsored walk. But just listen to this.
To see a wrong and not to be able to right it, to see an injury and an injustice and not be able to correct it, to see suffering and be able to do nothing about it, to see pain and know you cannot heal it, to see good that needs to be done and change that needs to be made, and not to be in a position to do it.
Now, is this Jeremy Corbyn he's talking about here? You wouldn't have thought that it was Gordon Brown that deregulated the banks that led to the financial crisis that's caused so much hardship for so many families around the country, would you? Brown spewing about righting wrongs. How dare he?
And when I know, and I argue, and I think you believe, that the only way that we can avert the pain and end the suffering is by securing in future the election of a Labour government to deliver on our priorities. And when I see the opinion polls that say that the one grouping in the party that is likely to get most votes is the one grouping that even its own supporters say is least likely to be able to form a government.
Why's that, Brown, you alleged paedophile? Why are you saying Corbyn won't be able to form a government? It's because so many of the MPs in Parliament are bought and paid for by corporations, and you want the status quo to continue. Someone like Corbyn saying he is for the people and not corporations goes against everything the establishment stand for. An establishment, I might add, Brown, that covered up for you when it was alleged that it was going to come out just before the Iraq War in 2003 about your little love of children. Our government is run by corporations. This is why they will do everything in their power to stop Corbyn. If Corbyn has done anything during this Labour leadership campaign, he has proved this beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is why I've been saying the answer to our problems will not come from an establishment party. We need a new party where everybody is singing off the same hymn sheet with the same values. If Corbyn is elected, most of his party will despise him. What chance has the lad got? The other Labour candidates are just so bland. They are everything that's wrong with our political class. So grey, so boring. If Corbyn gets the leadership, he will be sadly doomed from day one. But it will be fun watching. I hope he isn't doomed from day one, but I just can't see the establishment. And we all know that they can do what they like. I just can't see the establishment standing for it. We need another party, a brand spanking new party, if we're going to ever have real change that we strive for. Otherwise, we'll continue to have alleged pedos like Gordon Brown and scumbag blood-dealing warmongers like Tony Blair being listened to and respected in the media. We need to wash our hands with this scum and be brave. If you always do what you've always done, then you'll always get what you always got. Hopefully, if Corbyn wins the leadership and he's ousted by a coup, probably led by the Prince of Darkness, Peter Mandelson, well, hopefully more people will have woken up to the fact that we are run by corporations and we are run by bought and paid for MPs who are there not for the good of the people, but for the good of the shareholders. Whatever happens, it's going to be interesting. Hold on to your hats, people.